Okay, so this is my first video, and I decided to make it a response to an older video by a guy named Zonstar, and he wanted to hear our deconversionist stories. So I guess this is mine. First and foremost, I really don't consider myself an atheist. I consider myself to be more of an agnostic because I understand where the hope comes into play for Christianity, for religion in general. I understand it. I just can't quite grasp it. I guess it's not for me, I guess you could say. But I grew up in a very Christian family. I was born and raised in North Carolina in the middle of the Bible Belt. My family is very religious. We used to go to church on Sundays and Wednesdays for Bible study. We did all that trash. And I remember when it stopped. My mom and my dad got divorced. I was really young. Those few years that went by, and it just became such a nuisance to get up so early when you just didn't have the energy. You didn't have, my mom didn't have the heart. It was a bad divorce for her. It was very ugly. And then she would try to go. I remember that. She would try, especially on Wednesdays for the Bible meetings for kids, for me and my little brother. And it became a problem, and we just stopped going. She got remarried, and there's that honeymoon phase where that man or that woman in that relationship, whenever there's that remarriage, is perfect. It's exactly what you're looking for. But then that real person comes out, and I remember that. The man she got remarried to was very abusive, very emotionally abusive. He didn't hit. He was a little dude. But he didn't hit, but he would scream. He would throw things. He was one of those, And this went on for like a year, if not longer. And then I'll never forget it, because I actually still remember the night. Like I said, very Christian family, and when I was younger, we said our prayers every night before we went to bed. Every night. And I did it even on my own, without, a parent coming in and making sure you said your prayers. And I remember I was doing my thing, and I stopped, and I said, this isn't working. I remember that. I remember saying, I don't feel like there's anyone listening. And it scared the hell out of me at the time, because it was unheard of. I didn't know what an atheist or an agnostic or a fucking Buddhist or Wiccan or I didn't know there was any other religion out there. There was Christianity in my life. There was God. And then I remember just saying, there's nothing. It hit me like a brick, And I just said, I need to test this. I'm having a hard time. I need help. If you're there, if you exist, let me know. Help me. And this is a kid, this is a 11, 12-year-old child asking God for help. And nothing. No change. No salvation. Things got better, of course. My mom divorced this man, but it took years because she was scared to leave him. My mom and I are much closer now than we were when I was a child. Her faith is still strong. I don't understand how, and that's kind of what makes me an agnostic. Because of my mother. That doubt will always creep into my mind because my mom. She is so faithful. And I can't be. I just can't. It's not real for me. But I guess that's kind of how my story starts. I remember going to school as a newly found atheist, and I didn't talk about it. I didn't think about it. I remember lying, and I felt like I was lying. Like, whenever, on the very rare occasion that in high school your faith comes into play. Oh, are you a Christian? No, yeah, sure. Are you? And then I met my friends, and Wicca was popular when I was in high school. That was the thing, and I studied it, and I found it fascinating. I didn't think of it as a religion. I thought of it as a sport, I guess. It didn't seem real. You know, it seemed like fantasy. It seemed like a good book. But I understood where that faith came into play. And I always remember thinking, man, this must be nice, you know, just to not have this creeping doubt on your shoulders. I truly came out as an atheist I truly came out as an agnostic, atheist, whatever, as a senior. I went to a debate class, and religion was one of the topics because it was a real button pusher. And my teacher at the time had a love for those. And, that whenever we had that conversation, when it came up as a topic, there were this group of people over in the other corner of the room, and they always said, you know, they held their case for God, and whenever someone else tried to argue with them, well, that's just what I believe. It's such a cop-out. You know, it just seemed like such a cop-out to me, so I'm an argumentative prick, and I didn't accept it. You know, I told them, like, well, where's your proof? Where it is, you know, and they always said the Bible. And of course, I did my study and I did my research. And it was written, I had to explain to them that the Bible was written in a different language. And it was written hundreds of years after the death of the people that the book was written about. Hundreds of years. Specifically the New Testament, of course. But, and they just said, no, it's, you know, they always said, no, it's the Word of God. Written by man. A long time after the events had happened. You don't think any of that's hearsay? None of that was word of mouth? Things do tend to change whenever stories are passed down generation to generation. It happens. And I remember trying to explain that, and they didn't get it. And it baffled me that there were people like that, you know? But I guess that's either here or there. I guess this is some video. I'm going to start making videos now that I have this banging ass little webcam. My next one will be coming out shortly. Hopefully I'll get some fans. If not, fuck you guys too. Alright, thank you.